With the rebuild stalling a year after the devastating tornado blasted the city, neighbors want answers. Tonight, we continue our one-on-one conversation with St. Louis Mayor Cara Spencer, pressing for accountability. Brent Solomon picks up part 2 of his interview, focusing on the future of North City and the housing crisis.
I spoke with a grassroots organizer
Yes.
recently, and I said, what would you ask the mayor about recovery efforts right now? And his biggest concern was housing and the amount of people who have been displaced,
Yes.
the number of people who are homeless, the number of people who will cause us to continue to lose population. And he said, what is her housing plan?
The person you were speaking to is spot on to identify housing to ensure that we have a path back home for everybody that was here. That looks like we've got the rental assistance program, we've got the home repair program, and now that we have those programs underway and in a position to be accelerated, as we go into this next year, we're really going to be pushing for the Community Development Block Grant Disaster Relief Funds, that big pot of federal funds that should be able to come to St. Louis for building new housing.
Is there an opportunity for the mayor to be a champion for North City in terms of reaching out to investors, reaching out to the business community?
Oh, absolutely.
To say, hey, help us revitalize here.
Yes, yes, absolutely. You can't have a strong St. Louis without a strong North St. Louis. It's not only something nice to do, it's in our collective best interest to do.
But in terms of revitalization,
oh, sure.
Buy here, build here, invest here.
Yes, and that's the wave that's next. You're absolutely right. We want to see new builds, and I'm excited that we have a couple projects in the works for some new construction in North St. Louis, and that's just the beginning of what should be a rebuild effort, more broadly speaking.
Is that a promise in terms
Yes.
of your
Yes.
intention?
Yes. No, that's a promise. We have plans that we will be, and now I don't want to get too ahead of ourselves, promise to continue to, as I said, put one foot in front of the other and continue to do the work we need to do.
And to be a champion for North City.
Absolutely.
One of the biggest, I won't say challenges, but aspects of leadership is community building, meeting with your dissenters and those who support you.
Sure.
And building a collaboration. Are you meeting with these grassroots groups like Action St. Louis?
Many of those members are part of our advisory community, our advisory council, and I continue to welcome their voices. They are often present in our town halls, which we hold regularly. They communicate regularly with many members of my team, and we've sat down with them. I think it's also true that we could also sit down with members of our community even more.
People who are still living in their homes that are in disrepair,
Yes.
mold,
Ugh.
people who have nowhere else to go, and they're thinking a year later, I'm still here.
It is so hard to think about, to put myself in those shoes of somebody who's lost so much. We're going to continue to be here. We're going to continue to work with members of our community to repair our homes, to repair your homes, and give us some time to work with us and continue to engage, and we'll continue to do what we can to support you.
2-4 years from now, because we may still be talking about recovery then.
No,
we will.
I have no doubt. I mean, Joplin, it took 11 years to close that out.
Whether or not you're mayor at that time, in those years ahead, maybe you will be, but what would be your message to city leadership about the tornado zone?
You know, my hope for the broader St. Louis community is that we regionalize some of these. If the federal government is going to continue to saddle local jurisdictions with responding to massive disasters, it is nothing short of ridiculous to making every single municipality in St. Louis have a tornado expert on hand.
Since the first part of our interview with the mayor aired, not much has changed in terms of home repairs. Still, some 2,500 applications. A couple of weeks ago, 23 of those projects had been completed. Tonight, 24. Although the mayor says there's now a national contractor on board to help speed up those repairs. There's more progress, though, when it comes to demolition. Of the 1,200 requests, The city has taken down more than 100 properties.